Hi everybody, welcome to Drive-Thru Review number 70. Today I'm going to talk about TSCHAK or TSCHAK or whatever, but it's a weirdly named game by GameWorks, and it is a 2 to 4 player trick spitting game. Weird thing. It's a good game. It is one in a series of little card games I'm doing. It's very unique. The artwork is awesome. The components are awesome. It plays great from 2 to 4, so let's take a look quickly at how it works, and I'll come back and tell you a little bit more about it. Okay, let's just do a quick little component overview here of what's in the game. So you've got sort of a main board here, and on this board you're going to be drawing from this treasure pile and this monster pile. So to start each round, you're going to draw cards off the top of this deck and put them there, and then off the top of the monster deck and put them here. So you're going to basically play, let's call it 4 turns, each with 3 rounds in them. And then you're going to basically play 1 round here, here, and here. And then you're going to have sort of at the end of the 3rd round, sort of a little consolation round to win these little gold pieces up here. And simply enough, these gold pieces are each worth 1 point. Any treasure that has the gold pieces on there, that's worth 1 point for each piece. Each monster card that has skulls on them is worth minus 1 point for each skull. Now there are some other kind of scoring cards in here. So you've got these cards that have a hand with a ring, and these are sort of exponentially scored. So if you have 1, that's worth 1. If you have 2, they're each worth 2. So for a total of 4, etc. And you've got the converse of that with these little troglodyte cards, and one of these is worth minus 1. 2 of them are each worth minus 2 for a total of minus 4, etc. And then also you've got a couple of these treasures. They're actually in the treasure deck, but they're little evil treasures. They're like trapped, and these are worth minus points as well. There's a couple other little different cards in here. I'm not going to go into all of those, but they'll change up the scoring a little bit. You've also got these 2 little tiles here, which if you're playing a 3-player game, you'll pick one of these and use one of those. If you're playing a 2-player game, you'll use both of these, and I'll explain that in a second. Finally, you've got 4 types of cards, and each player, each round, is going to have 10 cards in their hand. They're going to have 3 red, 3 green, 3 blue, and then a purple card. So on a player's turn, depending on which phase we're in here, if we're in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd phase, everybody's going to take a certain number of cards, put them face down, and then all reveal them at the same time. And by the end of that, you're going to have 3 cards face up. So you can see here in the 1st round it goes 1 card, 1 card, 1 card. So everybody's going to do 1 card, turn them up, another card, turn it up, 3rd card, turn it up. And then you're going to add together everybody's total. Whoever has the highest total, just of the points on the cards, is going to get the treasure. Whoever has the lowest total is going to get the monster. But there's one very, very concrete rule that needs to happen. You need to have 1 of each of these colors face up in front of you. Or you can substitute one of the colors for the purple card. So for example, if at the end of the 1st round, I did this green 6, then I did the red 2, and then I did the blue 5, then I'd have a total of 13. And that's probably enough to get this, and definitely enough to not get that, hopefully. And then in the 2nd round, everybody's going to do 1 card face down, reveal them, and then do 2 cards face down and reveal them. And again, you've got to have 1 of each color, or substitute one of the colors with the purple card. Finally, in the 3rd round, you're going to do 3 cards face down and reveal them all at the same time. And that's going to leave you with 1 card, because you've got 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. You're going to have 1 card left over. Everybody's just going to reveal that card. Whoever has the highest card is going to get the 3 coins, 2nd is 2, and then 3rd will be the 1 coin. Now let's talk a little bit about the blue cards and this purple card, because those are a bit special. First, the blue card. So if you play this guy with a question mark, he's going to equal whatever the highest blue card is that's face up at the end of each of these things. So if I had played for my hand these 3 cards here, 6 of 1 and this question mark, and another player had put a blue wizard of 5 face up, and that was the highest blue that was face up at the end of the round, then this would also equal 5. So there's a lot of cool little manipulation and strategy that goes on with these question marks, especially based on which round you're in. Finally, the purple card is times 2. And what that is, it multiplies your personal lowest card times 2 and adds that to your total. Now you want to get rid of these cards here the question mark and the ×2, because for all purposes, those cards will always be 0 in this final consolation round to get these gold chips. So you don't want to hold on to these and try to score with those. So after everybody has played all of the cards, we've gone through each level of this sort of dungeon here and then got the final treasure at the end, you're going to take and you're going to pass your entire hand of all the cards that you've played to the person to your left. Everybody's going to pass them all the way around, and then you're going to play with that hand. So you're going to see, as people play the game and as everything goes along, who's going to have the good hand and whatnot, and you're going to be able to try to plan, which level of this treasure do I want to win? Is one side really bad? Is one side really good? So that's a really fun aspect of it. What these mats are used for is, let's say we're playing a 2-player game. I'll pass this to the left, the opponent across from me will pass their deck there, and then I'll grab the deck off of this. So it's just sort of a stopgap mechanism as these go around, and then you're going to end up playing with every hand, every game. And that's it. Now that's not quite it. Somewhat frequently in the game, not too often, you're going to have ties in the game. And so then you're going to need to figure out who has either the higher of the hands. Sometimes the highest hands will be tied or the lowest hands will be tied. You'll need to figure out who is not the lowest. So in this case, numerically we have a tie, because if this was the highest 3, this would be a 3, let's say for purposes of this. So we've got 3 and 3 and 3 and 1 and 1. So they're tied numerically. However, you look at who has the highest wizard. In this case, this is always a 0 when considering breaking ties, even though it counted as a 3 when you added the total. So this guy would win, he would have a higher hand than this. But let's say that was actually a 3 and not the question mark. So then you will actually look at the wizards and see if either of them is holding a wand. Well, neither of them are holding a wand in this case, so now we're going to compare who has the highest greens. Well, the highest greens are still tied. That looks kind of familiar. So does that actually. That also looks familiar. Anyway, so we're going to compare the greens. And in this case, they're both tied. But then you're going to compare, instead of wands like a wizard, you're going to see which one has an axe. Well, Dirk here has an axe. So in this case, he's also going to break the tie on that. And if for some reason neither one of them had an axe, or they both had an axe, then you compare whoever has the highest dwarf. And then you go all the way down the dwarves, whoever has, I don't have to look it up, but like the highest hammer, and then down and down, down, they both had hammers. Then whoever has no weapons, and see this guy is sort of a monk-looking guy, he's got no weapons, then this guy would win again. So the tiebreakers are pretty cool, it's pretty fun. Yeah, that guy looks familiar. Okay, hope you enjoyed the overview of that. It's a really simple, straightforward game. It is, even though you're passing the hands around every time you complete a round, it's still sort of, there's a little bit of luck in there, but it's not overwhelming. And as you play the game several times, you're going to need to kind of plan and go big on some turns and not so big on other turns. And sometimes there's negative treasure at the top. You don't want either the bottom or the top. You want to land in the middle. You got to be careful how you play those question mark cards, when you're going to play the ×2 card. And also it's interesting because of the way you deal the cards out in rounds 1, 2, and 3, you may need to be a little bit, kind of hold back a little bit, especially on those first 2 rounds with that first card, because he comes out with a big 6, you're like, well, I'm not winning this. So I'm going to wait for the second time. So it's really cool. You can play probably 3 games of this in an hour. So you can play, a quick little game that takes, 20 minutes, let's say, and then, or you could play, a bunch of games right in a row. And the art is awesome. There's lots of, Easter eggs in the art, so I'll let you discover that yourself. But it's fun, the components are great, everything's great. It's a fun little kind of very different game. So another game to take a look at. Thanks.